I just want to prepare you for the interview that you're about to watch. I want to manage your expectations so that you kind of know what you're getting into before you start the video. And it's going to be weird. It's going to be random. It's going to be kind of all over the place. And you're going to be sitting there going, what is going on? I don't understand. It's definitely not like my other interviews. This is a very different kind of personality. Once you interview different people, you realize different people have different personalities. In this case, it's going to be random. It's going to be extreme. Tristan, he has some interesting points. My suggestion is watch the whole thing. If you don't watch the whole thing, you're going to be missing out. So, with that being said, just try to hear him out, all the things that he's saying, and you'll be surprised. Maybe you even agree with him on some of the points that he has. But I just want to warn you, it's going to be like that for probably the majority of the interview. With that being said, I just want to say I hope you enjoy the podcast with the one and only Tristan Tan.
What's going on, guys? We're back. And this guest, man, he doesn't need an introduction. But one thing I can tell you, this is going to be by far the most random podcast yet. I don't even know how to introduce this man, right? But if you can hold a conversation, we're doing something well. We're doing something well here if you can hold a conversation. I'm surprised this even went down. If it tells you anything, it's about 12 o'clock right now. So you're in for a treat here. We're going to talk about anything and everything. We really don't have any notes for this, so we're kind of just going to have conversation.
This is kind of like an improv podcast. You know? Like,
exactly.
To be honest, I didn't even expect this to happen tonight. I was like, yeah, I'm going to tell him it's going to happen tonight.
He's going to let me down
but
slowly.
I was going to just tell you spontaneously that it wasn't going to happen. But then Victor made me feel special, and he was like, Tristan, tonight has to be the night. I have someone scheduled for the next day. And I was like, okay. I'm kind of your side piece right now, but...
he didn't like that.
Yeah, no.
But he turned me down last night. We couldn't do it last night, so I'm glad that you're here today. I'm glad that you're here today. So were you going to go swimming tonight? He told me he was going to go swimming, so he wasn't going to be able to come through with the podcast. But he's here, so what happened with that?
Well, I just want to say thank you for the very nice introduction. You probably don't need an introduction since we know each other, but in case you guys don't know me on the introduction... I'm pretty much amazing.
Right. I asked him if he was going swimming tonight, and now he's introducing himself. So this is a typical conversation with Tristan.
It's like a first date. You got to set the boundaries right. You know, get out the jitters. I want you to appreciate my fit first. Do you like my fit? You know, just.
I like the fit, Tristan. We're kind of matching.
Some people are kind of confused, like. Am I a bit schizophrenic for having a watch and a Fitbit? And my response is no.
Why do you have a Fitbit on? Tell them why.
Well, you know, we go to the Lord's School ORU.
Amen.
That's why we gotta have the bling. Mm-hmm. That probably wasn't aesthetic for the video.
Yeah, I took mine off. If you
this
can't
one
tell.
is because my bestie actually gave me a nice watch for Christmas.
Right. So just to clarify, we have these watches because every single day we have to have 10,000 steps here. So
yeah.
So it keeps us in fit. Keeps us fit.
I hope that answers your question about me swimming.
Yeah, exactly. that's a typical conversation with Tristan. Yeah, but Tristan, tell us a little bit about your testimony. Tell us about your testimony. How I mean, I don't mean for it to get that deep, but I mean, if it's not deep, then
really just diving into the deep end.
Yeah. No, so just ease us into your testimony.
And this is the part where I talk about swimming. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's kind of like a trend Victor and I have, and I will answer that question. That's a good question. But Victor teases me all the time because he'll ask how I'm doing. And it's almost like it's like a 5-second delayed response. He'll ask me 2 questions and then just go on, and then I'll slowly answer it. Yeah. But, as you know, I'm a Christian.
Right.
I'd say my testimony really kind of diving in deep, straight into the podcast.
Yeah.
I think there's just even when I wouldn't consider myself like personally religious.
Yeah.
I think even really anyone, I think there's just an established respect for people when they're devoted, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think it has to be religion per se, but there's just something about a man when they're devoted. Like this podcast,
Mm-hmm.
like when you see, even if it's not at its beginning stages or if a company's failing,
Yeah.
I still want to follow someone who's trying their hardest even when their company's failing or
Right.
they're not in the right situation. I'd rather someone give it their all. And I kind of just thought, like, what else if I'm not trying my hardest with my relationship with God?
Mm-hmm.
What else am I gonna try hard at?
Yeah.
So I just really pondered upon existentialism. You know, what's all of this about?
Life? Are you
Yeah.
talking about life right now?
You know, life, God, and I came to the conclusion that the Bible is the word of God.
Mm-hmm.
God is an inescapable force.
Yeah.
There's certain aspects I admire about people who are truly devoted.
Right.
As like, I mean, Andrew Tate's not really a religious monument, but
Yeah.
you can see that he does, at least on the surface, take his religion seriously now.
For sure.
And
Right. So whenever you say that you finally had to acknowledge that the Bible was the word of God, how did you come to that conclusion? What led you there? Was there anything in specific?
well, you know, I think my answer to that's also the same is my answer when I questioned God's existence, which was that there's so many religions.
Yeah. I think that's a question that a lot of people may ask, you know.
Yeah.
That is a very, very prominent question that comes up a lot of the times is whenever you say, oh, I believe in God and Jesus is a way, they say, okay, well, how can you tell me that that's the way when there's 10,000 other religions out there, right?
Exactly. So, and usually people just leave at that.
Yeah.
They say, well, there's so many other religions.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we know not one of them can be the religion. And that sounds logical, right? I mean, he was in the Muppets 3 movie, which there's so many other movies he's Ricky Gervais.
Not sure. I'm not sure I'd know him.
He's a British comedian.
Okay.
And for some reason we take religious input from comedians nowadays.
So what is it that he said?
So he pretty much said everyone is an atheist.
Mm-hmm.
A Christian's an atheist towards Islam. A Muslim's an atheist towards Christianity.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm just an atheist to one more God than you. And that sounds logical.
Yeah.
But then it's like saying everyone thinks there's a suspected killer.
Right.
And one guy comes up and he's like, oh, no, wait, I have an idea. I don't think anyone's the killer.
Right.
And it's like, you guys all,
That's good.
someone has to be
Exactly,
the killer.
Exactly.
So I just came to the conclusion there had to be a God.
Right.
Because I just saw the fine tuning of the universe. And when you look more into religions like Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, they might share some of the things, but you really realize not all religions are the same.
Right.
And Christianity is the only religion that is proven over time.
Yeah. Right. And I like whenever you use that sort of analogy where you say a comedian said that he is just an atheist to one more God, right?
Yeah.
And I can say the same thing, I think, with the fact that even if you don't believe in God, you believe in a God, right? I heard Jordan Peterson just yesterday say that even if you don't believe in God, if you're an atheist, you still believe in a God. You may be your own God, right? Somehow, some way in your life, there has to be a God.
Exactly. I would say probably there's no way. Well, maybe there is, and then, you know, the world's just truly depressing and it's just filled with coincidences.
Right.
but I think for the most part, most atheists, if they were really serious about it, probably with all humility, would probably say that had to have been a cause with design for this
Yeah.
universe.
No, for sure. There's no way all this was a coincidence.
Yeah, and I mean, just there's so many things in this world. I mean, it's it just makes sense that with everything we have at our disposal, that something has to spark a passion. You know, like you're passionate about this podcast design. You have here's a clothing brand you guys should check out.
Yes, sir. I'm actually, this is one of my first
It looks
kind of
good.
shirts that I made. Thank you.
What does it say?
Oh, Vehai Moda, and that's what my brand name is. It's Hebrew for he lived, and that he lived movement is what I kind of want to express through my clothing.
So am I saying it right? Veha. No, wait, hold on. I've got this.
You got it.
Su negocio de ropa es nombre Veja Moda.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got the Spanish down. Let's go. How do you know Spanish?
You know, speaking of passions,
Right.
kind of a good segue into it. I want to work in business.
Okay.
I think, and not only that, I think it's just important to be cultured. And I've learned that definitely for me, I won't speak for everyone.
Yeah.
But you're bilingual,
Yeah.
right? I think when someone is bilingual, it opens up their mind.
Yeah.
It allows them to communicate with people in a different way.
Right.
I personally, when I'm at work, and I've had different jobs, a lot of them with different cultures, different countries, but a lot of them Spanish. And you can just see the light up in their eyes when it's just some little Asian boy and they're like, and I'm just asking about, like, you know, the dirty towels if I need to take it away from them. And it's like the most random thing, but they appreciate it.
Yeah. No,
And
for sure.
I think that's the nice thing about this podcast that I appreciate is you're kind of picking up, learning from different people, and, you know.
Yeah.
So I think it's just the reason I decided to learn Spanish, you know, just going on Duolingo. Sometimes during the summer I'd be on Duolingo 2 hours a day.
Yeah. That's some commitment right there.
Yeah. You know, some passion.
Right.
Kind of, it was like my podcast.
Yeah, your podcast. I like that. I think it's, I want to touch on this because you said that whenever you speak Spanish to people, or whenever you speak Spanish to somebody who doesn't know English, and you obviously they're in a setting where everybody speaks English, right? They come into a new setting and they're kind of overwhelmed. They don't know English, and just to have somebody to talk Spanish with them, right? It's just, it lights up their world, right? So there's been plenty of times where I've gone to restaurants and there's somebody who doesn't speak English. They'll be speaking Spanish and nobody can really understand them. As soon as I come up and I can, you know, somebody like me, I don't know if you would picture me speaking Spanish, but I'll speak Spanish and I'll help them. And it's just a light. It's just that help that they need, and it makes them happy for somebody to understand them, right? As I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about, in the same way, what if that's how people see Christianity, right? So if somebody who doesn't know God comes into a place where everybody knows God around them, right? They feel left out, but instead of not understanding them, if you were just that one person who shared Jesus, shared him in a really intimate and loving way, right? If you just tell them exactly how it is, but don't be that one guy who tries to kind of stray them away and say, you know, condemn for them not knowing God, right? If you just showed them that love and that actual care, because people care. Just like I said, whenever you speak to them in Spanish, whenever you go out of your way to help them, they care.
Yeah, I think that's really good. But I would totally agree with you. You know, trying to sympathize with people more. Are you into the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Did you see the Super Bowl ad, He Gets Us?
Yes. Well, there's so much controversy about that. I was actually looking forward to the okay, let me rephrase that. I actually don't know if I saw it. I think I saw a glimpse. I think I've seen pictures of it.
Odds are you've probably heard more people talk about it than actually see the ads.
Exactly. Because the year before that, I was actually looking forward to it because it was the first time ever, I think, that they've
Yeah.
had a Jesus or Christianity commercial on the Super Bowl. It takes a lot of money to have something like that,
What
or
was-
just anything in
What-
general.
What was it, like 17 million? At least
Probably at
17
least,
million.
yeah.
But
It's
I'm pretty sure that's like a fraction of sports betting though. But I mean, we're not talking about gambling here. That's
Yeah.
according to my coworker Mohammed,
right.
he's not catching on the drift that I don't speak French or Arabic, but he's very committed to trying to teach me. But gambling, according to Surah 2:19, is haram. So we're gonna stay away from the haram and focus more on the he gets us part.
Okay,
So I mean, I'm on the same wavelength as you. That gives off such surfer vibes, wavelength. But I mean, I was talking to my coworker Mohammed, just cooking up some pasta,
right.
and he was just talking about Islam, and I was talking about how, Christianity and Islam have some parts, but the thing about Christianity is, I think the word Christian's way overused.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying you have to read the whole Bible to be a Christian, but only 2%. Like, that's a weird statistic. 2% of Christians have actually read the Bible. I'm not saying you have to, but maybe give yourself 5 years of being a devoted Christian. Read a chapter a day, and you'll finish it before the 5-year end. And I was talking to him, and I was like, but I feel like the main difference between Christianity and Islam is, even though it's quite similar, and he was kind of surprised by that. And he was like, how do you know? And I was like, I've read the Quran.
Yeah.
Which, if any of my teachers from high school are watching, thank you for being concerned about me. If you think I'm concerning now, think on how concerned the teachers were in high school. Just like they would talk. They would talk. They would like talk to each other about me.
That's fair.
Tristan's carrying around his Quran and Book of Mormon and Bible again today. I think it's just a phase.
I think a little bit of the backstory is that he went to a Christian high school. So you can just kind of connect the dots there.
Yeah. A lot to go into, but I'm trying to stay focused.
Yeah,
here.
you're doing a great job. Keep on going.
Thank you. Yeah, guys, I'm making great strides on conversation right now.
Yeah.
You should. Victor's like banging his head against the wall when he's trying to talk to me. But yeah, I think that's just the main thing about Christianity is just not calling yourself a
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not calling yourself a Christian, It's really about just. I don't even think it's about living without sin. It's just choosing to love God with all your heart. And that doesn't mean you're perfect, because only God's perfect.
Exactly.
And I think if we just communicate that's what it means to be Christian, not, oh, you have to do this, 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 we'll see more true Christians.
Right.
So I'm not going to really, I don't think I'm in a place in my life to get into the controversy of he gets us, but I know God loves us.
Right.
And I don't watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I know I seem like the type, but
Yeah, I know you do. So speaking about that, the thing that caught me off guard, kind of, it was really funny. It's just funny how it made me laugh that we have a conversation, right? We start a conversation, you go off, have 3 different conversations, and then somehow you remember the first conversation. And oh yeah, he gets us, right? About that. That just made me laugh. Anyways, so
yeah.
you were talking about religion, right? And so, and how you've read all these books. You've read the Book of Mormon, you've read the Quran, you've read the Bible, you've read a lot of books, right? So, reading all these religious texts, what would you say stands out the most about the Bible? What's a really interesting fact that you would, want to share with us that is different about the Bible and has really stuck out to you?
I just want to say, I hope you guys appreciate how Victor's mind and my mind are working. I'm going like 0.5 miles a second, but even though I'm going really slowly, I'm going every direction possible. And Victor's just going one direction, like 100 miles an hour. And I'm just like slowly processing it. But I would say, obviously, I think you should never judge a real. This goes with everything, but in the context of religion, you
Right.
should never judge a religion by its people. You should judge it by its foundation.
Okay.
So, I thought, man, if I'm looking at Christianity, it's, I mean, even Andrew Tate talked about it, which of course Andrew Tate. I don't know why I said even. Of course Andrew Tate talked about it. I mean, most Christians don't live up to Christians' statutes. You know, it. I feel like if I profess to be a Christian, and you know I'm talking to people at college, like maybe I go to a secular college, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a Christian, and if they say, oh, I would have never guessed that,
Wow, man.
dude, that would
hurt.
break my heart.
Exactly.
Like, and I think we need to just take it back to its core,
Mm-hmm.
which is the Bible. You
Okay.
know, I haven't fully. I've read pretty much everything, annotated, highlighted, the Quran and Book of Mormon, and I'm not claiming to be an expert on them, but I would definitely say the difference between the Bible and the Quran and the Book of Mormon is obviously it teaches of the Trinity, and that could be a whole rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But I'm staying focused.
Yeah,
here.
you're staying focused. Good job.
Taking it slow. I would say the irresistible grace. So the aspect that nothing we do can gain God's love, and nothing we
That's
do
good.
or, you know, try to do
Yeah.
can get us to have our sins atoned for.
Yeah.
So that's literally Christianity, true Christianity, compared to any other religion.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I was kind of going to go in that same way. I was going to say that the one thing that I would say, right, that Christianity is different from the rest, and I think it goes right along with what you said, is that all these other religions, you have to prove yourself to God. If God is so invincible, if God is so powerful, if he's just the creator of it all, how are we ever going to live up to where he can notice us?
Yeah.
There's no way we can live up to that. So it would only make sense that God, if he created us, he's going to try to, you know, nurture us and love us. And, you know, not to say that we shouldn't fear him, because we should have reverence for the creator of it all, right? But there's no way we're ever going to live up to where we can even just kind of touch his robe in a sense. There's no way we can do that. We can't live up to that. If he created us and he created this whole world, this whole planet, this whole universe, there's no way we can ever live up to that by, you know, necessarily just praying every day and whatnot. He's going to see it anyways, right? But if he created us, he's going to love us, right? And he's going to give us everything and more, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think we can live up to just pleasing God and gaining, oh, you know, he's been praying every day for a year, so now I can notice him.
Yeah. I would say that makes my head spin just thinking about it.
Yeah.
But man, I was thinking of me going through my like apologetics religious phase of maybe this week I'll become a Mormon, or you know, maybe in a
Yeah.
month I'll be a Muslim, and just like seeing my phases progress.
Yeah.
Concerning, but you know, I'm getting out of it. And also another thing that I thought was just kind of strange. I want to hear your thoughts on it, actually. What do you think about dreams? Do you think,
Man.
because dude, my dreams are just obsessive, like all the time. I dream every night, and apparently everyone dreams every
Obsessive. Clarify that before they think you're weird.
night. You know, we'll get back to that.
Okay.
But let's stay on the dreams.
They can think you're weird.
Yeah. I don't think I can change their minds
Yeah.
regardless.
They probably already thought that.
Anyways, I don't think you guys want to hear about my dream journal, which doesn't exist. But
I do. I have one. I did it for about a week or two.
this guy's
No. Hey.
Kind of dorky here.
I did it for about a week or two, but the thing is, seriously, whenever you talk about dreams, what is a dream, right?
Yeah.
I was talking with Anna about this the other day, about how if you could choose your dream every single night, what would that look like? But then I thought, man, that's just like living that's just like living on Earth how you would want to live on Earth. But the crazy thing about dreams is that in my journal, right, you can make fun of it all you want, but if I go back and I look at those notes, I can vividly remember every single dream that I wrote down, and I can take
Isn't that
myself
weird?
back. Like, what's going on whenever you dream, if it's so vivid, if you're so there.
But here's the thing: is like you write like I do. I used to do when I was when I was a little lad, maybe I used to like write it down, and I would just do bullet points,
Yeah,
and I would remember all of it.
exactly.
But the thing is, I would have the most vivid dream, and then be like, that was so impactful. I can't forget it. And then I turn over and it's gone. Doesn't that happen to you?
In the mornings?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I'll remember that, and I'll write it
sometimes-
down later.
Or sometimes I'll remember it even all on my way to class, or like in class. Something just it's so weird.
It is weird.
But I like the aspect of like being able to control your dreams. And then it's like you can literally do that in your life.
Isn't it called lucid dreams?
Is it? I need to try that.
There's this song, isn't it called Lucid Dreams? The song by, I forgot who it was by.
I have pretty poor music
Oh, Juice
taste.
WRLD. Juice WRLD. It was by Juice WRLD. It's
Are you
called
sure
Lucid
you're
Dreams.
saying the name right?
Juice WRLD? I think. Please don't flame me if that's not the name. I'm going to be so upset.
I'm embarrassed. I'd be embarrassed if I was you right now.
I would be embarrassed too. But anyways, I think it's called lucid dreams, to where you kind of think about what you want to dream about, and then once you're in the dream, you dream about that and you can control your dream. But I've never understood dreams because, like you said, I can go to sleep, I can have a dream, and I can wake up in the morning and maybe an hour before I'm supposed to wake up, and I can think, wow, that was a crazy dream because I woke up, right?
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, I'm going to write it down later and I'll remember it later. Once I wake up for the second time, totally forgot about it. But if I were to write it down, just little even bullet points, if I were to write it down at that time, in that moment, I would remember it for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't understand it.
Because you've been hypnotized before, right?
By you.
Yeah, but also I went through a Mormonism phase, a hypnotism phase, and the other one is in the works. I can't currently say.
I'll
Actually,
disclose it later. Don't worry.
Yeah.
That one was coming up.
maybe in episode 2.
No.
We'll
this
see if I
episode.
botch this episode. If I don't botch this episode, if you guys want me, I can come back again. But
Indeed.
I think the desire to be wanted is kind of a innate human trait, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
This book right here talks all about it.
how to win friends and influence people.
Yep.
I don't need to learn how to do that. I just
He already
manipulate
does.
them.
Oh, okay.
But how would you describe your hypnotism experience? Because I would imagine that hypnotism is dreaming, is like putting yourself in, because you're going into a REM state. Your eyes are like fluttering, and just like what you would do in a vivid dream.
Right.
So like, how would you describe your hypnotism experience?
Well, I've never been hypnotized. I'm sorry to break your heart. I've never been hypnotized by a real hypnotist. I've been hypnotized by you, right? I would say you had a little passion there for a while. You probably don't want me to be talking about this. You had a passion there for a while. I think if you would have got better at it, I would have much more to say about it. But you were in the works. You were in the beginning. It was an experience, I guess. I really don't know much.
For the record, someone who steals is a thief. Someone
Right.
who lies is a liar.
Right.
Someone who's hypnotized over 20 people is a hypnotist. So I think you're just flaming on me because
No, I'm not flaming. Personally, I can't really. It just relaxed me. Yeah.
but it's I don't think I've done it to that degree with you, because usually I'll just hypnotize you for better sleep and
Yeah.
stuff. but I hypnotize people and they meet Barack Obama or
Interesting.
or they'll think something's the funniest thing ever or anything.
Interesting.
And the weirdest thing is, like 60-70% of the time when I hypnotize someone, they don't think they were hypnotized. And if they do think, they don't remember it.
Really?
And it's literally just like a dream because
Yeah.
most people don't remember their dreams.
Yeah, that's true.
But do you think our dreams have like a subconscious meaning?
Bro, that's a rabbit hole. Let me tell you. I
forgot they're videoing it, so it's not aesthetically pleasing for me to just like put up a bottle. Because then they don't get to see my face for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think that's
Sorry.
a rabbit hole to go into. I don't know. But again, I think, how can we not have a creator if we dream? That's such a simple concept,
Yeah.
but it's such a true concept also. Like, how do you dream? Like, how I don't understand it. It's just beyond me.
Wasn't that referred to as Darwin's Doubt?
What?
So, if we're just all from primordial soup, which is kind of the wacky idea that what we are, tangible physical beings, all came from water with elements in it zapped by lightning. And it from one cell it came to this over billions of years. How Darwin's doubt was, even if that was the case
Right.
of soup, which has been disproven, turning into complex human beings,
Yeah.
that wouldn't describe how we have the ability to reason, or what many would refer to as a spirit, emotional attachments.
Right.
A lot of things that supersede more than the natural realm. But
yeah, that makes sense. So if I'm tracking kind of how we long for something bigger than us, if we came from a drop of water, how can we long for something that created us?
yeah.
If we came, maybe I'm not smart enough to really understand this, but if we came from a drop of water, we should be programmed to just be a drop of water. But something had to have created
We're much
the water.
more complex. I mean,
way more complex.
DNA, how we think, it's more than just chemical compounds interact. Who knows? Maybe we'll get like a chemistry professor on the pod, and I would just help. I'll give emotional support behind the camera.
Yeah.
But
with that though, I think, and many times, maybe I'm not smart enough, but maybe that's what it takes. Like, hey, we didn't come from water. That's it.
I think sometimes being too smart's kind of
exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's kind of dangerous for you sometimes. Like, do we really need to know about?
We're cutting this out.
You're just gonna cut this part. They're gonna look back when I'm like running for politician, and I'll just say out of all of these out of pocket things, and it's obviously a joke, which I feel like is the biggest problem in this world.
Right.
It isn't like global warming. The biggest problem is people don't understand. I actually am being sincere when I say this. The biggest problem we have is not understanding what's a joke, and and let me back it up, because obviously jokes aren't really on the pressing papers, on news what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I think it's the inability to understand communication. Think about any dispute in the world right now. We have Israel, Palestine, which are Ukraine, Russia. None of those things would actually happen with effective communication. The whole reason we have different political parties and news organizations. I mean, I genuinely do believe that most of our media is out against us, or at least against our interests. And if they're not against our interests, they're prioritizing their interests over ours.
Right.
But I mean, isn't it strange how the news is supposed to be just providing us information?
Right.
But if you watch like Fox News and then CNN, it's a completely different narrative.
Yeah. And one thing I can say to that is the other day I actually heard, no matter what you say, no matter what you say, you feel something, right?
Yeah.
As a human, you can say, oh, I don't lean left, I don't lean right, I'm just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Something in you cares at least a little bit. You lean slightly to the right or slightly to the left.
Yeah.
It's just us as a human. That's just how we think. That's how we were programmed. That's how we were made to have at least a little bit of a care for something. You have at least a bit of an opinion. There's no way for anything, any decision, any subject, you just don't care. You care at least a little bit, some way, somehow.
I totally agree with you. Not only do we always lean a certain, there's no such thing as middle ground.
Yeah.
Right. But I would even argue to the point that it's not a bad thing to not be neutral.
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend who's also, if you're uber political and you're not affiliated in a political party or, actively like helping a politician run, honestly, I'm being serious. There's something mentally wrong with you. And I'm talking, this is coming from someone who says they're obsessive about their passions. Like, I literally dream about my obsession when it's happening. But at least for my obsessions, it's reproductive. It's productive at least to some degree, But when you're obsessive about politics, like, what are you doing with your time? You're just gonna always be angry at 50% of the world, It's so strange. The media supposed to just provide us information.
Yeah.
And it causes us to just get angry at literally 50% of Americans.
Yeah.
Just because of their ineffective communication.
Right. But that's just how the world works.
Yeah.
But whenever we talk about politics, right? Tristan, you have said on multiple occasions that you want to be a U.S. Senator one day. All right.
Yeah.
For the people who may vote you in to be a senator, right? What do you want to say to those people now that they can look back here in a couple of years and say, wow, that man was really doing stuff to get to where he is now? What would you say that you're doing to get towards that goal, and why do you want to be a senator? Tell us about that.
That's a really good question, but I want to direct it to the audience.
Okay.
Since you said that.
Of course.
And I'll give you a little,
Yeah, we can have a conversation
disclosure.
About it. Mm-hmm.
Disclosure after it happens.
Right.
I think I will be, to future Tristan in 30 years, to the people voting in 30 years, who you see before you is an amazing human being. Okay.
That's it? You think they're going to vote you in with that?
Obviously that was just a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope none of this is scripted, which I think is the best form of communication.
Right.
It's candid, it's sincere.
Yeah.
I do have opinions on certain issues, and I do think about them, and before I make any statement, or try and say anything, I want to be knowledgeable about it. I don't feel like I'm at the status to necessarily lecture people on political issues, but I think that one of the most important traits for leadership is humility. I don't think I want to be a U.S. When I am capable of running for political office, I honestly think it would be a demotion in my income. I would probably, knowing me, I'd want to prove myself to such a high degree in business and stuff like related to that I'd probably because I don't want to use my political office for monetary reasons. I think I will do good in political office, especially in 30 years. I think I'll be more capable for the job than I am now.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, you seemed almost too quick to say that. You don't think I'm ready to run for U.S. Senate right now?
I'm gonna be honest with you.
No comment. We're gonna leave it there. We're gonna cut that out. We don't need that. The reason I want to run for U.S. Senate or just serve in a political office is because I think because of our biased media
Okay.
and the ineffective communication of facts, we elect incompetent individuals who don't know anything. But the reason they keep getting elected, obviously, it isn't because of the competence or the ethics. It's because they rile up emotions, which is so crazy to me. Like, you can walk into a casino. Why are people spending their life savings at a casino? It isn't out of logic or information. It's out of emotion.
Yeah.
I mean, the media is not in the industry of information. It's the industry of emotion. Isn't that crazy?
Yes. I agree with you on that. I think the one thing, so I do parlays, right? You know what parlays are? I've done
Sure.
parlays.
Yeah.
So it's basically sports betting, right? So you have two
Sports
players.
betting.
I am a really big sports guy, so I want to say that I know sports pretty well, right? So
Yeah.
I think. I think that's the same thing that people think whenever they go into a casino. I think I know better, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, let me just put the two together. Whenever I do sports betting, I'll pick two players, right? Over, under, because I think I know, right? Once I lose that, for me, just with anything in general, once I lose,
Mm-hmm.
I want to get it back, right?
Yeah.
It's just that emotion that drives me to not want to lose. I don't want to lose. So if I lose in a bet, I'm going to put, I'm going to go $10 again just so I can get that money back, because it's that emotion that I just don't want to lose. And so I'm going to do everything to keep doing it. And just like if you go to the casino, you place 1,000, I'm sure it's going to go. I'm sure it's going to go down. You lose $1,000. What do you want to do? You want to get that 1,000 back.
Yeah.
How do you get it back? You put money. You lose again. Now you need 2,000 back. It's just
Yeah.
just a cycle.
It all ties in together. The most important trait in a leader is humility.
Yeah.
Why is that the case?
You need to lose. You need to know how to lose.
Exactly. You need to learn. You not only need to learn to lose, you need to expect to lose sometimes. If you want to see the most confident person,
Right.
if you want to see a loser,
Okay.
that is the most confident person. Everyone at the casino who loses thousands of dollars, why are they there? Because they're confident in themselves. It's almost shocking how confident people are in themselves. They know it doesn't have to apply to the casino. It can be anything. But when you overestimate yourself, that's called pride, firstly.
Mm-hmm.
You open yourself up to failure to a degree that you're not ready to recover from. And I think that's why I believe humility is so important in leadership. And what you were talking about when it comes to sports betting or really people at the casino, all of them are the most confident people are probably losers, because they just think they know the odds better than anyone.
Yeah.
And they can't take advice from anyone.
Right.
But really interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Look at us, our brains just brewing together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
If you couldn't tell, this is a guy that in the very first podcast I ever made, I mentioned him, right? I mentioned that this man was obsessed with the casino. I don't think obsessed is always a bad word. It's always a bad word. I don't think it's always a bad word, but he was obsessed with the casino. But he claimed to not be, what did I say, addicted to gambling, but he was just wanting to learn how to win. So I'm going to let him have the stage here, and I'm going to let him clarify that. How do you think that did I just say everything wrong, or what do you just want to say? The floor is yours.
I think especially if someone wants to be a provider as a male,
Right.
they should, if they really want to be a provider, they should also really want to make money.
Yeah, of course.
And I
Not
think
love money.
yeah, that's a good point, because some people think that being Christian and wanting to be successful in business do not go together.
Yeah, that's false.
Which obviously they don't know business and they don't know the Bible. But pretty good advice, business advice in the Bible, actually.
Yeah.
coming from someone who does not have a business, but we'll see in 20 years.
Exactly.
I'll restate that statement. But the casino industry is really fascinating to me
Okay.
because people are willingly giving their money for
Yeah.
essentially nothing.
Right.
I completely respect the casino industry. And you might say, Tristan, the casino industry and people gambling have ruined their entire lives. And I'll say no. That's not true at all. People being stupid with their money, because the truth is, no matter what happens to you, you're a full-grown adult.
Right.
You have control over your actions.
Yeah.
If I fail a test, I probably will, try and weasel my way with the professor and talk to them and tell them what's been going on, which is probably legitimate. But at the end of the day, if they say no, I don't think that's unfair
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a full-grown adult.
Yeah.
I have control over my actions. So I'm interested in the casino industry because, and maybe one day I want to own one.
Okay.
And people might say, Tristan, that's so, unethical. That's a terrible way to make money.
Okay.
No, I'm providing entertainment. Some people spend maybe their mortgage, maybe their car payment,
That's true.
but that's teaching them a lesson. Maybe doing things that are obviously and universally known to be dangerous and bad for you, and people do it anyways. Maybe that's social Darwinism to weed out the weaklings from I'm not.
You're sounding like Andrew Tate.
Perhaps I, but it's true.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't listen to podcasts like ever,
Right.
but some people say, Tristan, you're like, Andrew Tate and I disagree on a lot of things.
Okay.
Islam, Christianity, women,
Okay.
Bugattis. I don't know.
Hence why you're not rich and flooded with, what is it? Bugattis. Flooded with
Bugattis.
Exactly.
Yeah, but there's some things I like about him, but
Okay,
he's
yeah.
not my. Your passion definitely has to be something greater than money.
Yeah.
It's good to want money, but
Mhm.
don't be passionate about money
Mhm.
because money's not. Be passionate about things that make you happy. Money's not gonna make you happy.
Exactly. There's one thing that I've had to realize is that in life, whenever I grow up, the thing that I'm passionate about isn't going to be my source of income. That's usually not how it goes. Usually it doesn't work out to where what you love, what you're passionate about is what makes you the income.
Yeah.
But there's going to have to be something else that you're going to have to figure out to make income to be able to do what you're passionate about. The great Patrick McDavid said he does his business to be able to play golf or whatnot that he likes to do.
Yeah. This guy pretty much can just quote books for days, but
This has definitely got to be one of the most interesting, yet I liked it. It was
Yeah,
fun.
this was
I
a
really
fun
liked it, and I
podcast.
hope you guys learned a couple of things. I hope you guys have fun with this, enjoy it. And if you want to see Tristan again, make sure to like this so that I can see that you guys enjoyed it. But we're going to have to call it there. Tristan, do you have anything to say before I close this out?
guys, I just really want to say I need your affirmation, and it would mean a lot to me if this video had the most likes out of all of Victor's podcasts. I think everyone with eyes also probably has thumbs, so you guys should get clicking to the likes. I'm expecting at least 50 likes. That would really help with my confidence, and also I would officially be able to say I did better than everyone. And also, if we get 60 likes,
You heard it here first, y'all. All right, everybody
Six-
click the like button. We'll see you on the next video. Peace.
okay.